One introduction RAWSEP view: the United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building, for just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM 2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree, but it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM 2.5, and PM 2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM 2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut-down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM 2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM 2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lungs, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM 2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM 2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom, the Eco-Design Wood Stove, and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP view: purple air PM 2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM 2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM 2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.
Hi, my name is Lily. Andrew gave you the intro to Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates and their concern for air pollution from indoor residential wood burning. Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates, or RAWSEP, would like every near neighbor of an indoor residential wood burner whose wood smoke enters their yards and sickens the near neighbors to have a purple air PM 2.5 monitor hanging from the eaves of their home to measure the level of PM 2.5 entering their yards. That measurement of air pollution should be used as evidence of unnecessary air pollution, and each indoor residential wood burner should be shut down based on that evidence, one indoor residential wood burner at a time if necessary. The presentation by Andrew ended at 2 minutes 5 seconds. The same presentation by Emma starts at 2 minutes 3 seconds before the end of this podcast. So I am Lily, your timekeeper, and you can start the next podcast at 2 minutes 5 seconds in if you would not like to see the presentation by Andrew a second time. This presentation by me, Lily, ends at 5 minutes in. What you will see in the main content of this RAWSEP podcast will be news about air pollution from indoor residential wood burning, and how that air pollution is being combated by ordinary people just like you who are unfortunately near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners at this time. There will also be news about unnecessary and highly polluting use of wood as fuel in industrial wood burners and preventable air pollution from wood burning wildfires. There will also be news about air pollution from PM 2.5 from gas-powered cars. There will also be news about airborne diseases which are also preventable with vaccines such as COVID-19 and measles and whooping cough, to name just a few. In 2025, Residents Against Wood Smoke Emission Particulates is also concerned with combating the Trump destruction of government funding for programs which protect human health through the Department of Health and Human Services, and Trump destruction of programs which fund the science and medical research plan to protect human health from preventable illnesses. Protecting human health is a patriotic act, and our defense against enemies is weakened if we are not as healthy as we can be. Heat pump rebates are now offered by the federal government, distributed through the eligible United States, are available in 2025, and are the best, cleanest, and now cheapest alternative to indoor residential wood burning if that burning is actually done to purportedly save money. Wind and solar as sources of the electricity that powers heat pumps and electric cars is also cheaper than burning wood. The adverse health effects that are caused by indoor residential wood burning also come at a cost to near neighbors, both in shortening and ending their lives, and in actual hospital, clinic, and funeral costs. Instead of being compensated monetarily, near neighbors should instead be able to achieve immediate relief by stopping indoor residential wood burning in their hyper-localized neighborhoods, which relief readings from purple air PM 2.5 monitors used as evidence of air pollution will help them achieve. Welcome to news about hopeful scientific and medical achievements that will also help us achieve the goal of clean air to breathe.
Webisode 57DHYAEC December 8, 2025 Trust Vaccine Safety and Effectiveness During Our Holidays. Larry the Litigator here in the RAWSEP studio with all air purifiers running and the entire RAWSEP audience wearing the stylish ski goggles in solidarity with residents against wood smoke emission particulates, a 501c3 nonprofit organization in solidarity with the personal protective equipment that protects the eyes of near neighbors from the PM 2.5 emissions from indoor residential wood burners in their yards, which also infiltrates their homes in their own hyper-localized neighborhoods. RAWSEP audience, hey Larry, should we trust vaccine safety and effectiveness during our holidays? Larry the Litigator's safety and effectiveness of vaccines is guaranteed by medical authorities such as an Academy of Pediatricians. Here is one spokesperson from an Academy of Pediatricians, Dr. Pollyanna. Dr. Pollyanna, I always look on the bright side. The American Academy of Pediatrics put out on December 5, 2025, a very clear directive that we are recommending hepatitis B birth dose for all newborns. Larry the Litigator, there was a lawyer, a notorious lawyer against vaccines, who made a long presentation before the Cary G committee arguing today, December 5, 2025, that pharmaceutical companies, because Congress has given them liability protections, do not test the vaccines, and that federal regulators are overlooking any evidence of harm. What does it say to you that we have someone like that testifying before what is supposed to be our preeminent vaccine panel? Dr. Pollyanna, well, it tells you that we no longer have that vaccine panel being preeminent. I think they are not to be trusted. I think the CDC is not to be trusted. I think Cary G has now basically elevated activism against vaccines into United States public policy. I think the good news is the medical community, the scientific community, now ignores the ACIP and ignores the CDC. This Academy of Pediatrics put out today a very clear directive that we are recommending this birth dose for everybody, and what happened here in this ACIP committee today is why we physicians are ignoring what this group is doing, and hopefully everybody will ignore them because they are worth ignoring. Larry the Litigator, all members of the Vaccine Advisory Panel of the federal government were appointed by Health Secretary Cary G, and today, December 5, 2025, those members voted 8-3 to drop the recommendation that all babies get vaccinated for hepatitis B at birth. Instead, the panel recommended that parents consult with doctors. This may confuse and delay parents asking for their newborns to get the life-saving vaccine and may result in some newborns not getting the hepatitis B vaccine. For decades in the United States, the hepatitis B vaccine has been recommended for all newborns. Hepatitis B is a serious virus. It affects the liver, and infection can lead to major health problems, including cirrhosis and liver cancer. Newborns are especially vulnerable to this blood-borne virus, and a baby exposed at birth has a 90% chance of a lifelong infection. The vaccine has been shown to be highly effective in preventing infection if given within 24 hours of birth. So, Dr. Pollyanna, you were invited to testify before this ACIP panel, but you said no. Why did you decline to speak before this Cary G committee? You are a longtime supporter of this 1991 previous recommendation that all babies born get hepatitis B vaccine. Why? Dr. Pollyanna, in 1991, the recommendation was to have a birth dose of hepatitis B vaccine for all babies. Those would be babies whose mothers had hepatitis B infection, and also those babies whose mothers did not have hepatitis B infection, because at the time 30,000 children less than 10 years of age had hepatitis B. Half of them got hepatitis B from their mothers, the other half did not. The other half got it from relatively casual contact with someone who had chronic hepatitis B. And there were millions of people in this country then, and millions of people in this country now, who have chronic hepatitis B, and this can be transmitted fairly casually. I mean, if you live in that home, or if you share any sort of common things like toothbrushes, or washcloths, or towels, or nail clippers, you can get hepatitis B. 15,000 children got hepatitis B not from their mothers. And with that 1991 recommendation, we virtually eliminated this disease in children less than 10 years of age. But this Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, ACIP, the Cary G committee, does not recognize that. And so they are now trying to put children in the way of harm again. Larry the Litigator, is there any demonstrable evidence that these vaccines cause harm? Dr. Pollyanna, no, and the study that Cary G references does not show that either. But when do we start to get to the point where we do not believe Cary G? When he claimed that the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine caused autism, he made a movie called Vax 2000 Bonkers Ideas. He was the executive producer claiming MMR vaccine causes autism. Then when the fear was that thimerosal, this ethyl mercury containing preservative vaccines, caused autism, he wrote a book, Thimerosal, Let the Bonkers Cary G Science Speak. And thimerosal study after study showed that did not cause autism. Then in April 2025, he said, I am going to have a major announcement. Autism is preventable. We are going to have a major announcement in September. And in September, the president stepped up to the microphone and said Tylenol causes autism, which is not true either. There are 2 excellent studies in Sweden and Japan that show that is not true. When does Cary G start to lose credibility? Larry the Litigator. There was another representative from the FDA today, December 5th, 2025, who put up a lot of evidence arguing that the United States, compared to European nations, other developed nations, is an outlier when it comes to vaccinating children. Is there any truth to that? Dr. Pollyanna, we in the United States believe in giving vaccines to children if it prevents a disease that causes children to suffer or be hospitalized or die. We in the United States are willing to spend the money to do that. Not all developed world nations are willing to do that. So we in the United States care about our children and want to make sure that they do not suffer. For example, some European countries choose not to give the chickenpox vaccine, but in this country, chickenpox caused 10,000 hospitalizations a year. It caused 75 to 100 children primarily to die every year. So, if you can prevent it, prevent it. And that is where we stand. Larry the Litigator. There was an interview with Cary G released last week. I do not have a subscription, so I only know how this interview in a certain journal was discussed in the media. The news that leaked out is that Cary G thinks of himself as a modern-day King Arthur and is a skeptic of science itself. RAWSEP audience, that is old news and old lies. Larry the Litigator. What if Cary G is wrong about keeping people from taking vaccines? What did he say during the interview? RAWSEP audience, spoiler alert, he said he would listen if anyone ended up dying if they do not take vaccines. But then, paraphrasing again, he said that listening would not happen because 6-7, and he listed many of his previous points not based on science. Dr. Pollyanna, a paraphrase of how I was quoted in this Cary G interview in the journal, if the bacteria and the virus do their work and people pay the price, people may learn at their peril that they should have taken vaccines. Larry the Litigator. Enough said. Doctors are on your side. RAWSEP audience. Their motto is do no harm. See the statement put out by an Academy on Pediatrics on December 5th, 2025. Goodbye for now, RAWSEP residents, and keep it clean and take your vaccines and live long and prosper.
Red Green Fox here. The quick red green fox jumped over the barriers to clean air. Red Green Fox here. Ready to sing to you the names of the 2025 major wood-burning biomass industry subsidy opponents. 1. Biofuel Watch. 2. Bulkley Valley Stewardship Coalition of British Columbia, Canada. 3. Kommite Schön Luft, which means Beautiful Air Committee in German. 4. Dogwood Alliance. 5. Equity Group Foundation, nicknamed EGF. 6. Environmental Paper Network, nicknamed EPN. 7. Natural Resources Defense Council, nicknamed NRDC. 8. Prakaunia Narzek Wissenskik Istet, which means Workshop for All Beings in Polish. 9. Rachel Carson Council. 10. Solutions for Our Climate, nicknamed SFOC.
Cat's corner strategy with Tiger and Leone. Saying the quiet part out loud. Roar. Hi, I am Tiger. Our human asked us to get up from our naps and start Cat's corner strategy with Tiger and Leone. She gave us a list of internet allies, which we will post for her here.
Hi, I am Leone. It is better for your mental fitness to go to these websites than to go to bro sites for advice. Substack letters from an American Heather Cox Richardson. Substack your local epidemiologist. The Midas Touch. The Guardian. The New York Times.
One introduction. RAWSEP view. The United States government was on track in the Biden administration to reduce the prices for both clean energy heat pumps and clean energy electric cars. Trump tariffs are expected to upset those plans to prevent future air pollution and prevent climate change. The United States government should, instead of certifying wood stoves as safe when they are not safe, go forward with regulations that ban wood stove use and direct government money for use of forest refuse only. For home building and furniture building, for just a few examples of use of forest products for non-burning uses, it is well known from scientific and medical research that wood burning is a substantial source of PM2.5 emissions, yet the wood burning industry uses the scientifically debunked theory named carbon neutrality of wood burning to argue that wood burning replacing coal burning in industry, and in a trickle-down argument that wood burning should continue for home heating should continue. Presumably because it is called renewable, wood may be renewable in the sense that a tree can be planted in the place of a cut-down burned tree. But it takes centuries or decades for the newly planted tree to attain the stature of the cut-down burned tree. During those centuries or decades, photosynthesis, which converts CO2 to oxygen, and so sequesters some carbon, will not take place at the same rate as photosynthesis was performed previously, and wood burning emits both CO2 and PM2.5, and PM2.5 is not absorbed by trees, so PM2.5 is not diminished by planting a tree in the place of a cut down and burned tree. In fact, a living tree closes its pores against the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning, just as humans hold their breath in the presence of PM2.5 from nearby wood burning. And when a tree closes its pores, the level of photosynthesis that absorbs CO2 pollution goes down. Wood burning emits 90% PM2.5 particulate matter of 2.5 micrometer size, the perfect size to infiltrate the human lung, setting off a cascade of human health problems and early deaths. Contrary to many beliefs, wood burning emits 2.8 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel coal burning, and wood burning emits 450 times the PM2.5 as the fossil fuel natural gas burning. Replacing coal burning with wood burning creates more air pollution in the form of CO2 and PM2.5 than coal burning. This emission data comes from testing the cleanest burning wood stove in the United Kingdom. The Eco-Design Wood Stove and International Convention does not count the emissions from wood burning. The emissions from wood burning are erased from all countries around the world when calculating if each country has met its climate goals. This non-counting or erasure of wood burning emissions data from climate goals does not mean wood burning emissions do not exist. RAWSEP View Purple Air PM2.5 monitors hanging from the eaves of the house of a near neighbor should be used to measure the level of PM2.5 in the air hyperlocally in the yards of near neighbors of indoor residential wood burners. If PM2.5 levels exceed World Health Organization standards of 5 micrograms per cubic meter annually, then that evidence of air pollution from wood burning should lead to the shutdown of that indoor residential wood burning appliance, one appliance at a time if necessary.